Importante de la historia del fútbol femenino en nuestro país, en uno de los éxitos de mayor valor para el deporte español. Durante la entrega de medallas, Luis Rubiales, presidente de la Federación Española de Fútbol, le lanza un beso en la boca a Jennifer Hermoso, jugadora de la selección.
All right, so this Luis Rubiales situation, in some ways it seems so trivial. In other ways, it is a sign of the times. Yes, perhaps. So yeah, I found myself looking at that footage of the infamous kiss and clinch and, you know, pat on the lower back. My mom was like, "Did he pat her butt? Did he slap her on the butt?" I don't think so. But I kept rewatching footage of that whole scenario. Okay, I have a personal view on what happened on this kiss and embrace and everything. I have my own personal view on it. But I also want to try to understand where other people are coming from, particularly since there are a number of people I respect who have a different feeling on this. And so I kept watching it like over and over, like rewind, watch it again, click back, watch it again, because I was thinking, okay, at some point eventually I'm going to get what other people are feeling. Like some other people are looking at this, maybe a lot of other people, and they're seeing something that's just hideously inappropriate and a kind of a violation and something that men should know that they shouldn't be able to do, and et cetera, and something that would, you know, be really awful for this lady. And I couldn't get that reaction, you know, personally, like for myself, it just didn't give me that feeling. I kept watching it over and over, right? It's like each time I watch it, I'm going to get some new back and to the left, you know, hey, look. You see my JFK poster?
Back and to the left. 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 Back and to the left.
Yes. I made this. That's how much I love JFK. I've told you this Oliver Stone movie. It is my second favorite film, second only to Apocalypse Now. So, here's the thing, is that there are a number of people I respect. My guy, my mom, a number of my followers, and people who normally are on the side of leniency toward men, I think, and open-mindedness, and, you know, this attitude of like, come on, not everything is harassment, not everything is assault, let's chill out, that sort of thing, right? So there's these people, different people in my life who, they don't think that what Rubiales did is in any way criminal, but they think that it is very inappropriate and that he should have known better, and there's something wrong if he didn't know better, and that he should face some kind of either like social, you know, opprobrium or censure. Now, when I watch it, this is my feeling, okay? First of all, I do not like kissing, nor do I like being kissed in a non-romantic context. I don't like really being touched. I'm just one of those people in a non-romantic context. But the thing is that when I watched this, it was so obvious to me that this guy was not trying to get some sexual jollies out of this, but that he was really enthusiastic and really like happy and exuberant and proud and wanted to show that. And look, he knew cameras were there. He knew it was a public thing. Wasn't his daughter even standing behind him watching? And so if he thought that it was, you know, if he thought that it was inappropriate or it was sexual or something, he wouldn't have been doing that. And so I really think that in a situation like this, that intent matters a lot. Now, it can only go so far, I understand, and someone having certain intent doesn't give them carte blanche to violate other people. But I'm just saying that in this situation, I think context matters. And to me, I understand people can pretend to be one thing, but then they're really just using that as a cover to get their sexual jollies in. But to me, it did not look like that this was about eroticism or sex or anything. To me, it looked like this guy was exuberant and he was showing it. Now, you might say, well, would he have done that to a man? No, he wouldn't have done it to a man, perhaps. I mean, I don't know. I've seen men really happy doing, you know, stuff. But there's a lot of things that we do with women that we don't do with men. And that doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad. I mean, yes, there are distinctions between the way we relate to the different genders or sexes or whatever. So that's not really an argument to me to say, well, you'd do it to a man. He wouldn't do it to a man. Now, I don't see any problem. Like I said, I don't like being hugged, but I don't see any problem with, in a moment of exuberance like that and in public celebration, to grasp someone very strongly or to embrace them very powerfully. So we're really then just talking about the kiss in my mind, because I did not see anything else. You know, while maybe I wouldn't have liked it, I did not see anything else that is problematic in this context. And by the way, let me just remind you that just because someone doesn't like something, it doesn't necessarily mean that the other person committed a violation. And I get really tired in our society, I think, of people not understanding that distinction, that just because someone is uncomfortable, it may mean, yes, it may mean that something wrong was done or there was a violation, or it just may mean that there's just different comfort levels with things. But we're just talking about the kiss, like I said. The other stuff, just that's, to me, that's not in contention. Okay, so looking at the kiss, you know, yes, he looks at her. He takes his hands and kind of puts them on her head or her face, kind of like, almost like when you're gonna kiss or embrace someone, but you want to look at them first because you're so like proud of them. Like, let me look at you, right? So he does that, and then he kisses her. He kisses her on the lips. It's short. It's powerful. Like, he definitely kisses her, not tongue or any of those weirdness, right? But he definitely, you know, there's kiss on the lips, very emphasized. But it's you know, it's powerfully done. But it's not something that lasts very long. It's not one of these like, and then, you know, lips are here, and then we're just, you know, right? It's like, and then embrace her or whatever, right? Did you like that demonstration? I could do it again if needed. This is the level of sophisticated analysis that my viewers have come to expect from my show. Yeah, but I didn't. So do I want to be kissed on the lips? I don't even like being kissed on the cheek. Okay, it annoys the hell out of me when people do that, but that's acceptable, like, for a number of people and cultures, right? And I guess, look, I kind of thought that things in certain parts of Europe, like Italy and Spain, that there was a certain kind of like expression of emotionalism and of warmth and love, even platonically, of like kissing. But people tell me that this is not indicative of that. You know, yeah, maybe a kiss on the cheek, but not this. Okay, I take your word for it. But I wouldn't have liked it. I think that if we're asking if he should have done this or not, I think he shouldn't have. I think it would have been better if he had not done it. That having been said, though, I don't think he meant anything sexual by it, and I don't think that it was experienced as something sexual either. I understand that there could have been discomfort, although the lady didn't seem, in that video afterwards, she didn't seem uncomfortable. She seemed just like, kind of like, yeah, I didn't like it, but sort of laughing and like, whatever, you know, what just happened. I just don't see where it caused a great deal of discomfort or any kind of like emotional trauma or whatever for her. And, you know, she's a tough soccer player anyway. And I don't think it was intended in any kind of way really by him. I think that from here on, he needs to be more cognizant of and respectful of boundaries. And that's something that my guy was saying. He said, you know, it's not this in and of itself as much as it's, I mean, to a degree it is, he said. And he said that he wouldn't like anyone embracing me that way or kissing me that way. But it's also that it shows a kind of entitlement. Like, if this guy is just going around, you know, kissing people, you know, why does he think that's okay? To which I would just say, he did truly seem exuberant about, I mean, they won the fucking World Cup. There's not like this was just sort of a normal day at work and the boss goes and he's like, hey, baby, you know, to his colleague or whatever, and is doing all this. It was a moment of extreme exuberance. And I guess here's my concern, is that I am really afraid that this new heightened, I would say more repressive, more victimization-oriented perspective on relations between the sexes, that I am concerned that it is draining a kind of freedom and spontaneity and even passion out of life, or that it will do that. And I don't like the idea that if someone is just super exuberant about maybe a lifelong dream coming true, or maybe really, really proud of this soccer player who's just made the country very proud and has won this great championship and done something that people all over the world are cheering for. And this man is overly demonstrative in his expression of that and his expression of what looks like to me pride and gratitude as well. I don't like the idea that that's going to be punished in a severe way, that he has to step down, he has to resign, that you've got all of these articles talking about it, that it's like big news and he's being treated as regarded as a kind of big time sexual harasser, or as a kind of almost a mini Weinstein or something. Like I don't think that punishing over exuberance that way is good for society. And I wish that we lived in a society where people could just comment on something like, okay, he shouldn't have done that, and then it would stop there, because I think the guy has learned his lesson. I think he learned his lesson probably just from one news report, not to mention like all the thousands and hundreds of thousands of reports on this now. I think it would be good if it would just stop with critique and not go into then this cancellation brigade thing. Like, okay, let's go for it now. We're going to cancel him here and here, and he's got to resign, and we're going to start an investigation. And you've got Amnesty International weighing in on this. Amnesty International? Like, don't you have some Haitian prisons to report on? My God. I mean, this is the other thing that gets me, people. This is the other thing that gets me and it's the same thing. I was just talking to Max, my friend Max, see the video about the Rammstein thing. But people's focus, their priorities, people are getting so notched up on the trivial. And it's like there are these trivial things that are becoming so important and significant. Meanwhile, the important stuff oftentimes is ignored because it's more difficult. So, like, I'll give you an example, like the Rammstein thing. Germany does in fact have a problem with sexual assault, particularly over the recent decade, but it's not coming from Rammstein. It's a serious problem. You could see it, for instance, in what happened at Cologne several years ago. People who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying that one of the points that Max was making in our conversation today is that people want to focus, the media want to focus on this trivial Rammstein stuff where no one is even accused of assaulting anyone, and where the initial allegations of druggings have been long ago abandoned. And it's just this dumb, trivial, farcical tempest in a teapot with this Rammstein thing. But it's making the cover of Spiegel. And to me, it's the same thing with this. Amnesty International is weighing in. Amnesty International, there are so many more important things where people are truly suffering. Weigh in on that. Who suffered here? Really, who suffered? And everyone at some point in their life is going to get some unwanted physical affection. You can't fall apart or get into a tizzy or cancel someone every time it happens. And I'm not excusing it, but I'm just saying there's a sense of proportion that is missing, I think, here. So I don't know. That's my thought. That's my view. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Bye, everybody. Check out my links below. Like, subscribe, tip, donate. Check out my other work, and I'll see you later. Bye.